Sunday night's television offerings will include a made-for-television movie about a couple's astonishing story of survival after being stranded in the Alaska wilderness. It is a story based on the real-life experience of a couple hoping to find gold in the Alaska hills. Nanette Barusha has their tale.
It is the last American frontier, but Alaska's breathtaking beauty is only surpassed by its unforgiving danger.
Alaska is one of those places that doesn't give you a second chance. Normally, you die. A lot of people die in Alaska.
Roger Lewis and Denise Ramft know that all too well. Back in 1979, they survived an incredible 18-day journey, enduring sub-zero temperatures without food or shelter.
I was wondering, if I was going to die, feeling like I was going to die.
And they may have, if it wasn't for the heroic effort of this man.
I came along at the last minute of the last day, and there they were, and they're alive because of it.
This saga began when then 29-year-old Roger and 20-year-old Denise traveled to Alaska.
The dream was to get out there and go get tons of gold and totally get rich.
They were working in an isolated gold mine 70 miles from the small fishing village of Homer, outside of Anchorage. The only ways in were by sea or air. It was just the two of them and their dog Nuka, and their only means of survival would be a monthly delivery of food and supplies.
No man's land. That's where we were, basically no man's land.
But as the end of December approached, the situation became desperate. The promised supplies never arrived. Running low on food, they made a life or death decision.
And I realized that we had to use the food either to last another week and then starve, or use the food to get out.
So they packed up their dreams of gold and what food they had left along with Nuka and attempted to paddle their way back to civilization in a small kayak.
Basically, we got sucked into a trap.
On the 5th day of their odyssey, exhausted, they decided to camp for the night on a rocky beach, still some 50 miles from help. That's where disaster struck.
I remember seeing bubbles going bloop, bloop. I was under the water.
A night storm had blown in, and the pounding surf had washed over them, scattering their supplies and shattering their kayak. They were left with only the clothes on their back and a rifle. The only way off the beach was straight up a sheer cliff.
That's when the prayers started.
Fighting hypothermia, they somehow survived the frigid night, and the next day crawled inch by inch up the cliff. But the worst was yet to come.
We have no fire. It's 10 below zero at night. This is like another nail in the coffin.
For days, they trudged yard by yard over treacherous ground, all the time battling frostbite.
I can't go on like this, watching you die, watching me die. I think we should end it. And Denise goes, okay, you shoot me. And I go, no, I can't do that. You have to shoot yourself.
And I told Roger, there's no way. There's no way that I don't care if I have to crawl out of here. I am going to crawl until I die.
Meanwhile, back in the village of Homer, pilot Bill DeCraft had been asked by the owner of the gold mine to check up on the couple. When he discovered they had left, the Coast Guard was dispatched. However, after the kayak was found, it was thought they had drowned. But Bill didn't give up hope.
Then when you looked over here and you looked at this hillside and you saw these tracks, that's when I figured they were alive.
It had now been 17 days when Roger and Denise decided they had to eat or die. Seeing the dog Nuka, they made a terrible choice.
I told the dog, you have one more night. Enjoy yourself. Tomorrow morning, I eat you.
Finally, they made it to a clearing on a frozen lake, and with their last ounce of strength, made an SOS out of tree branches.
When I came over him, and it was just one more piece of ground until I saw that SOS and the guy standing in the middle of it. And then it was just like a shock. I mean, it made the hair go up in the back of your neck.
Just, just start crying, just with the joy of being alive and knowing that we were going to make it.
As they were being rescued, it started to snow and continued for 12 days.
And at the last possible second, on the last possible day, he plucked us off that snowfield.
Now, some 16 years later, Roger lives in Louisiana and Denise has a family outside of Indianapolis. But they still keep in touch and reminisce about their days in Alaska and the rest of their days that Bill made possible.
If I had given up, they wouldn't have made it. If they had given up, they wouldn't have made it. But you can't give up on people.
The TV movie, which is called To Brave Alaska, stars Alyssa Milano.